The Artemis II crew are expected back on Earth in just a matter of hours. Splashdown is set for a little after 7 p.m. Central Time. Rick LaBrode knows firsthand what the 4 astronauts are going through. He was the lead flight director for Artemis I, that uncrewed moon orbiting mission that made Artemis II possible. Rick, we are so thrilled that you're here. Thank you for making the time to come on our show.
It's absolutely my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
No, what are you feeling right now?
I'm nervous, and even though I'm not even a part of it,
Yeah.
I'm very nervous. But I tell you, as I'm sure the astronauts are nervous as well. But every astronaut's a little bit different in how they handle these kind of situations. But I can pretty much guarantee there's a common thread. They're nervous. They got butterflies. But I'll tell you, we train so hard and thoroughly for these kind of critical activities that they're laser focused, and that well overcomes any kind of nervousness or butterflies they may have.
Just a few more hours before splashdown, as we mentioned. So what are they doing right now to prepare? What are they thinking?
Well, a lot of it is they're packing the cabin back, getting, when they get on orbit, or when they left the Earth's surface, and they basically broke out sleeping bags, and they have a toilet that they use, and all kinds of other systems that they're deploying in the cabin. They need to put all that stuff away to make it clear so that you don't have those things bouncing around as they come in through the atmosphere.
Well, that makes sense. After they fix that broken toilet, they have to pack it back up. All right. Well, all eyes are on Orion's heat shield, right? The most dangerous part of this journey is what I heard is the last 100 miles. Tell us why that is, and what are flight controllers monitoring?
Well, so they have sensors on the bottom of the heat shield, but I don't know if we get that real time. On Artemis I, it's just, there's sensors everywhere so you can basically recreate how the heat shield functioned as it bored into the atmosphere. But there's systems all over the capsule that they're monitoring. It's not just the heat shield and the inside the capsule, the integrity, pressure, temperature, all that. But there's also propulsion systems that we haven't used the crew module propulsion system the whole mission because it was attached to the service module, which is the aft end, and it has the solar arrays. It generates electricity. It has the big jets that are used to do the big thrust burns. So after they separate that, they have to make sure that the capsule can orient itself and get in position to come into the atmosphere. It's a very thorough timeline that the crew's following to prepare for all of that. I'm sorry, the original question?
No, they're just the heat shield. We had issues for Artemis I. Why is NASA so sure it won't happen again now?
Right, so they did find some things that they didn't expect when they looked at the heat shield post Artemis I. But it preserved the capsule. It did its job.
Okay.
They just saw things that they didn't expect. So what they're doing with this one, the way the entry works is they call it a skip entry, where the Orion will bore into the atmosphere for a little bit, then it pops out, and the skip distance can be up to 1,500 miles. But then and that's what we did for Artemis I. For Artemis II, to minimize the heating or try to reduce it a little bit, they're going to do a shorter skip. I don't know exact distance that they're going to skip.
That was my next question.
But,
not 1,500.
Right. It's going to be substantially less. But still, the reason they do that is it's to control the heating of the heat shield.
Gotcha.
Because you could either bore in really, really steep, and you're in it a little bit shorter, the atmosphere a little bit shorter, but it gets really, really hot. Or you could go in shallow, and you stay in for a longer period of time, and it still gets hot. So it's a kind of a balance between that. You bore in, skip out, then you come in, and then you do your splashdown.
There you go. And splashdown, we mentioned near San Diego, Costa Pacific, happening a little bit after 7 our time. Can you walk us through what happens in the minutes right after the Orion hits the water?
Sure. One of the first things that happens is there's a cutter mechanism that cuts the parachute tethers. Okay. Because you want to pull that free, because otherwise, if the wind catches it, it could be dragging the capsule. Okay, so they cut that, and then there's a system. It's called CMUS, C-M-U-S. It's a crew module uprighting system. It's a series of bags that are around the capsule that inflate automatically, and that's to upright it, to make sure that it's sitting on the water upright. Because sometimes it'll land on its side, and the bags will then upright it. And that's and that's so that the recovery forces then come to it, and there's a whole bunch of work that they have to do to get it all set up for to be able to extract the crew.
Sure.
But before they do that, they have to make sure that Orion systems are safe. So there's batteries that generate electricity. They got to power down the vehicle so there's no chance of shock. The thrusters use a propellant called hydrazine, which is really dangerous. They got to make sure that system's safe so that the recovery forces aren't going to be exposed to that. So there's a series of those kind of things that have to be done. The recovery forces they're a ways away, and they're going to start closing in as soon as it splashdowns.
Right.
And then the recovery guys in the boats are going to come on up close, and then they'll put a collar around it. They call it a porch, and then they can open the hatch and they can pull the crew out.
And we hope everything will go smoothly. What part of the splashdown makes you the most nervous, Rick?
I think when you start coming into the atmosphere, it's a big deal, right? You lose communications, or you can lose communications.
For that 6 minutes
right,
that they've been talking
right.
about.
So that's kind of sporty, right? And when you're not able to talk to them, you're also not you're not getting any telemetry of your systems. The flight control
You don't
team
know
is
what's
not.
going on.
Right. So everybody's holding their breath.
For
right?
6 minutes.
Yes. And then, but everybody's very confident because we prepare so thoroughly. And then, but you're waiting because you have a sequence of events of things that need to happen at specific times. And so the flight control team is laser focused on monitoring their systems and seeing those checkpoints and making sure everything happens on time.
Of course, you'll be watching it.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Rick, we appreciate your time and your insight in all this, and thanks for all your work on Artemis I that actually made Artemis II possible there.
Well,
it's nice to meet you and nice to see you.
Yes, thank you so much. Really
Thank
appreciate
you so
having me on.
much. No, absolutely.